Greetings, beautiful family. Yay for Josh today. This is his session. This is his day. May we shower him with love and blessings and all wonderful manner of good things. I'm just waiting for some of us to amble in after Kebe. Sorry, I wasn't there. Been a day of running errands and doing stuff. And thinking that I will actually start the stream 15 minutes later so we can all have a bee break in between some of our flights, the flights of the bumblebee that we have around the YouTube. So with deepest gratitude to Josh. I wouldn't be here without Josh's encouragement, like many of us. Hini, blessing, you're the first love, and Millie's got first love too. Yeah, I was just thinking, I think I must start at 6:50, at 6, it's for me at 6, at 12:15, so it gives everybody a bee break in between Kebe and me as we all do our little dance of the bumblebee around the YouTube show. So blessings and gratitude to Josh for bringing us all together. I have often said thanks to him. He might pop in. I'm not sure. I think he's door dashing, but it would be awesome if he did pop in so he could actually give voice today on our show as well. PG is not with us. He would have also loved to be here, but he's bubbling on the water today. So I think I think if he cools down, the waters might start to boil. So we've been playing huge, big stuff. That's okay, my love. Yeah, we got stuff. A couple of the family do. Yeah, 12 pieces. So I know you're just so awesome. Thanks, Millie. Yeah. So I really, really do appreciate everybody popping in. Oh, look, we have a guest. We have a guest in the house. Ta-da! Welcome, Mr. Josh. Are you there?
Can you hear me, guys?
I can hear you. I'm going to cry. I'm so Josh.
This doesn't want to work. Hang on, guys.
Surprise. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Nice. Oh, wasn't that beautiful? You had a beautiful tribute. And I hope that you are feeling so much love and so much gratitude from so many of us today, Josh. Beautiful Papa Josh.
Absolutely.
I called you Papa a long time ago. We thank you. And it's like very much my deepest gratitude to you, Josh, for giving me my voice and having me do.
Oh, thank you. It's the gratitude's all on our side, on my side, Crystal. Really, thank you for being so awesome. And
well, that's why it's just such a beautiful two-way street. And to be honest, I've never met anybody in this line of work in the many years across the globes that is so truly encouraging and unconditional and supportive and wise to the people that support him. You are a 1 in 10 million. You are a true mensch. And if you don't know what a mensch means, you go and ask Hini. She'll tell us.
Oh no! I'm of the same ilk. I understand mensch. Yeah. We'll just say MOT. MOT. Member of the tribe, at least by birth. But yeah.
There are very few mensches. You know, they say, well, it's a bit of a good man.
My mother,
is hard to find.
My mother would say I'm a sugar, not a mensch.
Yeah, like you're definitely a 1 in 10 million, and you have woven such a beautiful family together. I've been thinking a lot of the support that has happened over the last few months to people that have dipped and dived and come up and thrived. But the support in this family is also, it's something we just don't see anywhere else.
No,
Was
generally, if you watch YouTube, you're just somebody in the audience, and yeah, whoever's
yeah,
running the YouTube channel,
yeah.
they may know your name or something, but yeah, that's not the idea. I mean, we're small enough now, but if we get bigger, it's going to be more. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea. Is that when I was started YouTube, I didn't have anybody to talk. I still don't have a lot of people in my physical universe, but at the moment. But when I was on YouTube, it's like, I didn't have anybody, so it's like I'm looking for. So I go from show to show, and you talk to a few people in the chat and whatnot, but you never really connect with the show. You're watching it, and you like the person you're watching, but yeah. And so I wanted to create, and what I created here was what I was looking to create. And I didn't realize I did so until last week, to be honest. Was a community. Like you can go on YouTube and then hang out, find your friends, and then go from show to show to show. And it's like when you have nothing and you're sitting in that space after you wake up where you have no ego left and you're crashed out and you're just all you can do is sit around and watch YouTube because you're like shell shocked, basically. Um, yeah, then you can find your tribe. And so that's what I did. We created a tribe. And so now we just go from, and it's not, we just go from our show to each other's channels, and we all watch this and kind of hang out with each other. And so you can go throughout the day and see Krista. You can see you 5 times a day. And so, yeah, the whole thing's a blessing. And it really, I had no idea what what created or what got created until just last week when I went, wait a minute, that's what I was looking to create.
It'll continue to take its because you let it be. You know what? It's crazy. Every time I say that word "be," I see these bumblebees. So we're really being blessed by the Holy Mother of the bees. So this is really an incredible little stream of the hive consciousness that's going on here as well. So yeah, and you've started with the birds. So thank you so much for that. We're going to
The birds started with me. Yeah, it was the day before I started channeling. The first I was standing on the street and I looked up. There's a hawk sitting on a wire. I'm like, ooh, I knew it was a sign of something. And then the next day I started channeling, and then I saw eagles, and now we're doing good dawning. So
it took a lot of courage to start, that first day for you.
courage, yeah. I'd already been doing YouTube. I don't know about courage. It's you get to a point where you have nothing left. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
this is what I got, so we're gonna do it. And there's no courage at that point. It's I'm not gonna say desperation, but it's like, look, I got nothing left. Well, I'm trying to be seen. A lot of us can't be seen in the standard universe because we vibrate too far out of it. We're the energy that either pisses somebody off or they look at us like we've like lost our nut. And so in that aspect, it's like, well, how else can you be seen if the physical universe around you isn't vibrating to see? So you go on YouTube. And so I'd already been on YouTube. I'd been channeling on YouTube. So it was just natural to make it go live. I'd already done my first live a couple of months ago, actually, that February, and this was in June. So it was just natural progression. I didn't even think about it. It was just like, all right, I can do this. And I just sat down and did it. There was no nervousness. You just do it.
Oh, well, kudos to you. It's just there's this, I think it's Anais, and then I can't remember it exactly, but it's a very beautiful saying. It's about the blossom that when it became too painful and she just had to bloom. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was no other alternative but to bloom, irrespective of the pain. Yeah.
Right. Either I sit there and just keep bloviating to myself, or I try to create something. Once you realize you're a creator being, the more you sit there and do nothing, that becomes torture within itself. But then when you don't know what to do, it's like, so you're living in this torturous. There's a period where everybody who wakes up sits in this torturous state of, I got to do something, but I don't know what to do. But I got to do something, but I don't know what to do. And so so that was all right, I can do this. And so let's get up and go.
But what's so amazing about you, Josh, is that you give everybody, these are the beautiful blooming flowers around you on this beautiful Ganesha. And I have to tell you that I very rarely do I create a Ganesha without thinking of Josh.
Oh.
Because I know Josh has a very special relationship with Ganesha as well.
Yes.
Josh and I have also had quite a few private conversations, personal conversations, and I know he has a very, very sweet spot, or Ganesha has a sweet spot for Josh as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing divination to Ganesh like 3 years ago, 2.5. And so it's like 6 months in, and I don't do it daily or anything, but enough. Ganesh doesn't need your total. Just as long as you're in that framework that Ganesh is there, you're pretty well straight. But and so I'm I usually I'll get in the car and drive off and do the divination in the car because I'm centered. So I came home one day and there's this concrete Ganesh I'm on the top apartment, so the one right below me in the base, the patios are just stacked above each other, and so there's this concrete Ganesh sitting on the patio facing the parking lot. So I pull in and it's like literally like right in front of me, and it's decorated and all that. And so I'm like, wait a minute, nobody has a Ganesh here. There's not a soul who has a Ganesh on their patio.
Mm.
And it's like, wait, Ganesh moved in after I started doing divination to Ganesh. And it's like, all right, so it's just proof. If you want to see the coin, you could just be like, that's just coincidence. But there are no
No, it is
coincidences in
not
the universe, right?
going.
How do I channel Saint Germain and Archangel Raphael, and I had a neighbor move in. He's since moved out, but he moved in and put purple and blue lights in his house, or purple and green lights in his house, and pushing every night. It was his patio was beaming purple and green. So yeah.
I remember that. At first it was
Yeah.
purple, yeah? Wasn't it first purple for a while?
Yeah, then green,
Or
and
was
then
it
there was
green?
both. It was
And then
no,
it
it was
became both, but it was for a
yeah, it was
couple of
purple, then green, and then both. So it's like, wait a
and
minute,
then both,
Saint
yeah.
Germain got a roommate.
I
Yeah,
remember that, yeah, because, yeah. I'm not quite sure when I started, because I know when I first jumped onto, it must have been because you were advertising on Adams. You were like telling that you had this
yeah.
live, and I don't know why I thought I'd pop in. And when I heard you almost like the couple, and I thought, I really want to be on that show. I want to be with Josh, and it still took quite a while. And then we were on a. Then you started. Then you just started working with the angel Raphael.
Mhm.
And we were actually on a live show together when she did the draw, when she did the spin of the cards.
Mhm.
And in the chats I saw, but it was like my eyes were, it's like really complicated to type and read and all of that. And I don't really win stuff that much. And when she did the spin and you put something in there, those are mine. They've got my name on it. Something to that effect. You had that kind of like comment in the chat.
Aw.
And then whoopee, it took me a while to realize that I'd actually won the cards. And I thought, and I was still going to try and type to you, and I couldn't like it. You know how you send personal message, and I was going to say, Josh, these are yours. These are yours. And I was still going to say then I couldn't get it. And I thought, Kelly, put them back in the drawer, because I actually had bought a set quite a while when they first came out. And they are truly the most beautiful cards.
Mhm.
And I sat with them for a little while, and I thought, because it's like my double Aries, and it's stop being so like quick to like always like that. If my double Aries. And I went into a lot of deep prayer and meditation about giving these cards away, and it just kept always coming. Give them to Josh. Just give them. They will be so beautiful and so healing and so protective. And they will just create such an awesome energy around Josh. And for me, Kelly, I've followed Kelly for quite a while. When I first saw her, this old granny grandmother, and I thought, every granny grandmother's doing channeling. I feel a lot like you, Josh. It's like, and I thought, she reminds me so much of my mum. And she would keep coming up. That was when I was still on Instagram. And she would just keep coming up, and I'd listen to her a little, and I thought, oh gosh, this woman's really interesting. So then I don't know, and I kind of hunted her down a little bit, and I would do quite a lot of her turnings. But she is a very, very pure soul, and one of the very few true channels, anointed channels out there. So sorry, I'm just reading. Yeah, he came through.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest. We don't I have to we have to put absolutes on things. We don't absolutely know if she's a pure channel or not, but my intuition tells me she is. I'll tell you, like, and I'm not going to be karmic about it. I don't care. Daniel Scranton, for example, to me, he feels like he's totally taken. But it's just to enter. Yeah, if you're watching channelers, guys, anybody who's watching this, go with your gut and be very careful, because a lot of channelers are just, there's a ton. If you don't realize the field that you're living in, and if you could see it, you wouldn't want to move. You probably wouldn't move. because there'd be so many entities standing around you. But if you realize where you are and you can see it, you can feel it, just get your intuition going if you watch anybody who channels.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think I've told you, I don't, I'm very, very, very wary of it. Way back when I was a child, my mother used to go to the spiritualist church, which was absolutely beautiful. There was such energy, and you would have that Shekinah glory of God come over the whole. You know, the Reiki hadn't come out yet, but there was laying on of hands, and there were some really, really beautiful people. But every week they would have a channeler. It was part of the show, you know, and most of the audience, like 95% of the people, would travel around from place to place for the show, not for the essence of the spirit that was going on. And my mother, I mean, she was going into automatic writing, and her friend that was with her, she would go from channeler to channeler around the village, you know, around the city. And one day we went to the church, and there was this guy on the stage, and he was just sitting there looking quite normal. And then it was the time for the channeling, and he literally changed before my eyes. Now I was like, how old was I? 10, 11. And his whole skin went yellow, and he turned into a Chinese person. He was actually channeling DK stuff, and he was definitely a real channel, but it was very, very scary for me to watch that total transformation. So I wouldn't go back again. I was like, no, I'm not doing this again. So yeah, just very interesting, guys. So, and especially just I totally agree with you, Josh. You know, you're opening yourself up, or be careful about also like calling for contact, because there's a lot of stuff out there, you know.
Yeah, you have no idea. If you're calling for contact and then you sit there and go, "Ooh, I'm hearing something."
Yeah.
Well, if you really think that you're channeling Abraham Lincoln there, and he's picked you out of all the energy, and he's going to talk about 7 years ago directly with you, well, we got to have a little talk here. But exactly.
Victor, there are very few people that have managed to really work with being hollow bones, pure channels, and purely open to the higher spirit. They've got some interesting stories. Most, no, I won't even go into that. But it's like, do because ego, even with those that have been really, you know, good mouthpieces for God or whatever. A lot of the time ego does come into it, which is really sad. But just it's our higher self for most people. Some people do. I mean, like Edgar Casey was definitely the real deal. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Edgar Casey's about as real as it gets. He just laid down he could put Moby Dick underneath a pillow and then tell you the synopsis of the entire story after he woke up. He'd be like, yeah, and Ishmael, and then we ate dinner, and then we went through the fishing line. So yeah, he'd read. It's crazy. Edgar Casey's insane. But yeah, 99% of your channelers are just co-opted energy. They don't know it. And I'm not going to name names because I don't want to be the karmic channeler on YouTube. But the only one I named is DS, and I'll never say his name because it's kind of out there already. But otherwise, yeah, if you're watching a channeler out there, you can, and again, the only way to figure this universe out is to feel it, which is a pain in the ass. So you got to feel into it, and then you got to trust your intuition, which is even more of a pain in the ass.
And you've got to keep trusting and creep trusting and keep trusting.
Creep trusting. Yeah, you got to creep. Just don't trust the creeps. Creep trusting there is not going to work. But as you said that. But no, yeah. The best advice, honestly, don't watch any channelers. You could watch Kelly Kaladny, maybe. But honestly, you're not going to see much channeling on my channel because if it's just my higher self, anyways. And let's be honest, I through my algorithm and what I've seen, I get more views if I don't channel than if I do.
Well, I'm really so glad. And then I said that too long ago, that I saw you being something like Alex Ferrari, that you would interview.
No, I'm not even going to do a lot of interviews because honestly, we don't know. Again, sitting in this realm, You have to deal with your intuition. If I'm going to sit here and talk to somebody about this, that, or the other, that's their lens. That's their point of view. Now, there's a lot of good stuff out there that I'm looking to interview, but you have to be extraordinarily careful again. And I got awoken by a specific, or awakened, I should say, by not woke, wake, by a specific channel that had me look into and think about in a deeper manner intuitively. What am I really watching, and what am I really saying, and are they really at my best interest, or is this co-opting energies? So be real careful. Like if you watch like Next Level Soul and you really start watching some of these channels, and again, I don't want to be karmic about a channel, but watch what they're, lots of fear. I mean, I love Aya to death, but Michael Sadler, if you look down at his titles, it's of the past 6 months has all been fear and what's coming and what's next and predictions. And
I
it's like
haven't done
all
that
that
for a long
energy,
time.
all of that energy, and everybody's, it's like, let it go. It's really, it's discernment. So while we will have interviews, and as a matter of fact, the new group that we're forming with Victor and with Millie and Lucky Stone 888, the new show we're forming, and maybe Witchy Trista, will certainly have interviews. But again, you have to be real discerning who you're going to have. I mean, like channelers versus somebody like Mel Robbins, who could give real credible advice. You just have to be discerning. Yeah, a lot of the spiritual stuff that we're watching, I've noticed, is just it's just a lot of, not all of it, and you got to discern yourself, is just a way to co-opt your energy.
I think when I started watching Michael Sandler was it was in 2020, I think, and it was more that he was actually interviewing Martha Beck, who's an incredible writer. I mean, you could say but she's not. She doesn't like profess to be a channeler at all. She just writes like Mel Robbins. She was very influential in my life for many years, and I just thought, oh, I just love this woman. And she'd come out with a new book, and stupidly I went and ordered the book, and then realized that I couldn't read it. And I also got that writing he hadn't quite finished it yet. The Adams, the Sandler, Michael Sandler, but you must also realize sometimes that somebody can be a good mouthpiece, but they're not for you.
Right.
Yeah. So we all vibrate slightly differently. Yeah.
Exactly. But what I'm noticing is a lot of the mouthpieces that I used to watch have switched. A lot of the energies have switched to feeding fear, pumping this energy of fear, trying to get the views, what have you. I'm not saying Michael or anybody specific. Just watch. It's your own discernment. What's fear for one may be a pure entertainment for another. But it's purely about watching the energies, because there's a lot of, and if you're, what I'm beginning to learn is less is more, and YouTube and all that. Just less is more.
Yeah, I would, for a long time, sometimes I would just take note of the not that the views are important, but the people that I follow have very few views, very few, not views, subscriptions. And I was just listening to somebody that I really trust almost completely, that she's like, yeah. And people were saying to her, why don't you put yourself out there more? And she said, I don't want to. She said, because you just have one, which is what happened in the previous creations of our earth. You have one rotten. The right people will come to me. She said, so she doesn't put herself out there.
No, that's the whole point. If you're doing a spiritual channel and you have to chase out and you're chasing people, that's not how the message should radiate to whom it comes to, and they vibrate to you. If you're running out there going, look at me, then there's an air of something that's not genuine, or you're mixing your ego in.
Oh, Scotty, Heaney, Victor, so many, Millie. We've got a lot of people here. Sister Trista, I love you. Who else is here? Did I tell you that? Lots of love, but he will make it up to you, he said.
Trista, I'm going to send you an email if you're free tomorrow. In the dawning after Truth Wave, we're going to do a Zoom if you want to join us.
Trista's my sister. I love Trista. She does some beautiful work.
Oh my God! If you haven't seen her bowls, or listened to her, not her bowls, her tuning forks,
No, I listen. I haven't done a live.
It's just like sitting here after her tuning forks, like, vibrating like a bell. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Now I think I've done almost all of them, most of them anyway. And her cat, love you, Trista. Yeah, I do. I often go to sleep with them. They really do work. And you can feel them, hey? And she clears, and you can feel like that shit in your head, and it's giving you a headache. And then she keeps clearing, and it just dissipates. Yeah. And definitely awakening the Kundalini with the blessings that, yeah, I do, Josh, I do take us all I'm very protective over us all here. I do want the best for all of us. I do step back a little bit because I'm just watching us all grow in different ways, which is just so beautiful. And yet again, Josh, what you are doing, that you're giving people so much encouragement, and the voice and the courage and the breath under the wings and the money and the this, and you just don't stop.
Why would I want to?
No, I know, but
Exactly. This is a
it's a
watch
compliment,
you.
my sweetheart.
Thank you. No, exactly. Thank you. And watching you go live, and then watching Laura tonight. Last week when I was actually able to sit in the audience, because 2 weeks ago I was at work, it's weird because it's like, wait a minute, I'm not in the camera, but it's the most gratifying thing to watch. When you went, no, I mean when we had to break off on Sundays because it's hard to be at home at 4 o'clock, and then you went live on your own. It's like, well, wait a minute. You've been empowered, and it's just like, wow. So I kind of feel like we're like a shipyard, and like Mr. Floyd's shipyard, where we're launching 1,000 channels, so to speak. And to watch everybody go live, it's just, if I died tomorrow, sort of deal. Like when Laura went live on her first Tuesday, it's like, if I die tomorrow, I'm good. I'm all good. Laura went live. I'm all good. I'm cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was probably saying it wrong, so he correct me. It's like clutching nachas or something like that. It's a Yiddish expression.
Let's see what she said here.
Huh? It's like
Let's
you're
see
just
what
so overwhelmed with joy and love and exuberation when you see your children like excelling at, that's my boy on the sports field. That's my one up there on the stage. So that's what you're doing. So maybe Heaney can give us that correct.
Yeah, well, it's just a blessing that when Millie did her first video, it was like, what? And you just drop over like, wait, she went was I and you hear that I'm an influence in that. It's like, wait a minute. Me, I'm just here I'm crying on my couch, basically,
Feeling,
so,
yeah,
yeah.
it's feeling, but feeling, but there's also like it's clutching knuckles or something.
Cavelling. It's called. I'm cavelling. Penny and I are of the same tribe. So cavel. You got have the choy. So cavelling. Boy, I'm cavelling. So yeah, it's like beaming with joy.
Yeah, absolutely. But there was something. It's just, I have a Jewish sister-in-law, and that was like when you're watching your children and they've like going.
Yeah, like when Laura went live, I became a little verklempt.
I'll fine, like doesn't matter.
Yeah. See. Don't understand.
Scotty boy, that's part of
yourself.
Josh's charm. We all tell him not to underplay himself and to take more care of himself but it's okay. It's okay. That's Josh. Josh is maybe not going to change, It was like people would say to me, you do too much for your children. I said, I know, thank you. You're not the first.
I'm a Cancer. It's my job.
That told me, and thank you for your input, but I'm not going to change.
Right. Exactly. I'm a Cancer. It's my job to take care of others more than I take care of myself, unfortunately. But my mother, I love her, but she did the best she could as far as taking care of me, but I was karmic against myself. So, but as the empath, as a extreme empath, which is really just grounding in on my mother's energy, so I knew when I wasn't going to get yelled at or not. Which is all empath is just grounding in on those around you who, so you know how to behave, basically, so you can keep an even keel in the house, or the even keel is kept in the house. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I kind of lost my thought there, but
it's okay. I'm just looking. I mean, Willie, listen to me, Millie. This is all this energy. It's so crazy. It's so fabulous at the moment. I'm doing the spoonerisms and the malapropisms.
But yeah, Scotty, it would be hard. We're only like, I don't consider myself Jewish. There's no, I'm not, come on, I'm born into a religion. I can't even speak the language. I don't even know what they're saying. It's not me. But yeah, as far as I'm reading the chat here, it says, I never met a Jewish person, not many Jews. And we're only like 2% of the population at best. So it's actually, we're about the same as about like a transsexual as far as like running around in the population wise. So there's not that many of us.
Not many Jews in Hawaii. And Hini, that's why you really got it. Yeah, they say like the worst combination would be a Jewish mother, a Catholic mother, and a Greek mother. Then you like, wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Who favor? Oh, you get the Catholic and the Jewish guilt. That's fun.
Yeah.
The double guilt.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my son has got his two gay godfathers and his Jewish godmother and his Catholic. So very interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Interesting. I didn't plan it that way. It was just that way. They were just the real people. So where to in the future, Josh? Are you going to share it or is it a surprise still?
I honestly have no idea. I know where I'd like to move this, but you know, we'll see. I have no idea. Honestly, I'm just taking it one day at a time. At this point, it was like, all right, when my universe, my universe went a couple weeks ago. We got a finger in the hole of the dam, so to speak, and stopped the bleeding. So, or the drainage from the dam. So we've got it's so. So now I shuffled 3 different jobs between door dashing and other things. But as far as what's next, obviously the appropriate thing and the thing I'm looking for right now is to get to Chicago and help my father. At least be there and be the energy that I wasn't and couldn't have been, you know, most of my universe.
Love it. Thank you.
And so to get there,
1, 2, 3, 4 here on this. It was when I managed to find my voice.
Nice. Moving forward. But you asked what's next, and it's 12:34. So if you see how the synchronicities work in this living toroidal field or this gaming system, however, AI field, whatever it is, you ask what's next in my universe. Millie pops in 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a number of movement forward, angelic number of moving forward. So something's moving forward. I don't know what, and I'm really kind of just letting source guide, you know, so to speak. My higher self kind of walk me where I need to be.
I always see 1, 2, 3, 4. Look who's coming through the door.
There you go. I got that song stuck in my head from once. Everything relates back to music. I have clairaudience, so any reference throws out a song in my head. I'm like a living jukebox, and it gets annoying. It's really kind of crazy. So what you said,
boom, 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 go, boom, Josh. We love
pretty
you.
much. So once we heard 1, 2, 3, 4, then the Miami Sound Machine 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, say you love me. It just popped right in my, and it just now it's the crazy thing. It doesn't stop, so you just end up hearing the whole song over and over until the next song comes in, or we just turn it off. Try to turn it off. It doesn't always work.
We call it an earworm here. I don't know if you call it an earworm.
No, I just call it annoying. No, I'm grateful, but it is a gift. But it can be annoying to have the same song just keep playing in your head, and, or have somebody make a reference and then it's like, poof, here comes another song.
Yeah.
Like the other day, somebody said, "Do you mind stepping back for me, please?" And then, of course, give me 2 steps, give me 3 steps, baby. Start playing in my head. It's just like everything, right?
And then it just starts to weave its magic. Yeah, the energies have definitely changed. We're on a whole new, different level of energy.
The shift 3 days ago, I think the shift started like 3 days ago.
Yeah,
the big shift.
And,
yeah.
I don't know. I saw it actually. I did talk about it when in the meditation. I was like, and thank you, Victor. Victor, those meditations. Well, we all have to meditate twice a day, like vaguely properly, you see. I mean, we all do this. It was no disrespect, because at the time, Josh, I also said to you, I would read a book and it would say meditate, and I'd put the book down and say, no thanks, no chance. Not going to do that. So, yeah, because I also knew that when I did meditate, all shit hit the fan. And I kind of tried to do meditation when I went through my Hindu phase when I was about 13, and I didn't know what meditation was. And you don't want to not know, So it was like perfect concentration on a perfect thing. Concentrate on the candle, on the light, or concentrate on a rose. Huh?
Exactly. The last place I actually did a real meditation, like, because I mean, I'm living in meditation. If I'm taking a walk, it's just generally me. So, and I don't
Ooh.
carry headphones if I'm walking. I don't listen to music usually. I may be on the phone, but I'm not listening to music. I'd rather be with nature. So I'm always in meditation in that aspect. But the last time I actually did a real meditation was 50 feet from where dude got the firebombing on Boulder Square, Boulder Pearl Street Mall.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
forget.
I was sitting on there's concrete like seats and steps, and so I was sitting on a concrete step or something, trying to meditate at Boulder at the Pearl Street Mall, and because it's a kind of a chill place, and people do all kinds of meditation and transcendental. There's yoga there and all kinds. But yeah, and so like 50 feet from where the protesters favor. And so yeah, that's the last time I did a real meditation, like what you would consider a real meditation, but once I hang up with you, I'm just sitting here, so I'm back in meditation anyways.
Yeah, but life becomes a permanent meditation, and that's what it should
Exactly.
be. Everything,
Exactly.
because it's about being consciousness. And sometimes when you can just like, I mean, my best was just to sit on the step. I always called myself a step child, not because I'm a step child, just because I love sitting on the step. I don't sit on chairs very often. And
Oh,
it
nice.
was having my cup of tea or a glass of wine, whatever that was at the time, and my cigarette and my dog and my cat, and just kind of the still of the evening, and just think that just looking up, usually got scratches and bruises because I'd like had a wonderful day in the garden, and just being still. And for me, that was everything was good and perfect in my world.
Nice.
And that's yeah.
Yeah, if you can find that wherever, even if your world is like
Yeah.
if you can find that space, and not your world, but just space within it where everything's perfect, that's where everybody needs something like that. So even when my world wasn't perfect, and it's not perfect now, I can still go to the park and stand by the lake and look at Long's Peak at 14,300 feet, or stare all the way down 150 miles to Pikes Peak. And so I can do all these things or I can go stand 1A mountain. And so, yeah, so you have to have that space where you can carve out to find that peace in that space within your crazy universe, or you just lose your marbles.
Mm-hmm. I just read it again. I've read it a while back, but I think it's a Hindu story. But I don't know, he mentions Moses. So, well, they say Moses finished off in Kashmir. He didn't, because, he didn't go into the Holy Land. But he meets this, he's listening to this guy's prayers, and he is absolutely horrified. And he's thinking, no, you can't pray like that. No, 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 no. So he goes to this guy and he says, who are you talking to? He says, what are you praying? And he's saying, no, he says, I'm talking to God. He says, and I'm telling God that when you get lice on you, I will pick the lice off you. When your clothes are dirty, I will clean them for you, and I will cook you the best food, and I will wash you. I'll give you new shoes, because your shoes must be very old. You've had them for so many years, and I will always be your friend. And he says, but you can't talk to God like that. That's absolutely wrong, wrong, wrong. This is the wrong way to pray. He says, why are you praying like that? He says, because I'm very poor. He says, and I know that when the lice eat me, then I pick them off, and it's very irritating. And my wife, she can't cook, and it tastes horrible, and my stomach hurts, and my feet hurt because I don't have shoes. And yeah, it goes on like that. He says, and my clothes are so old. And he says, no, 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 you can't. This is the way that you must pray. He says, oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you've told me. Now I know how to pray. And Moses looks up to the sky, and he's waiting for the blessings from the God Almighty to come and tell him he's done a good thing. And God is so angry. And he says, how dare you do that? I told you to go out and spread my word and make people love me. He says, but you have managed to destroy one of the most beautiful, most honest, most pure-hearted disciples that I had, who came straight from the heart with absolute pure love. And now he's going to pray like you. Get the story? I love that story. Yeah. So go and tell God, yeah, what comes from the heart, it's like, that's what's important.
Exactly. But you're telling God is generally from your ego.
Well, yeah, no, this was just the story that he's going to pick the laughs of God. Because they might be irritating. Yeah.
Yeah, Lindsay, in Ohio, they are serious about catching people fishing. They will they will ask for, I've been on the Ohio River in a boat, right? And most of the Ohio River is actually owned by Kentucky. But if you're on the Ohio side, I've been in a boat and they have pulled up. Somebody was fishing and they climbed onto our boat just to ask for his fishing license. So yeah, they're insane. They had nothing better to do than to board a vessel, to board it just to check a fishing license in the Ohio River. So yeah, they're pretty karmic about that in Ohio.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely, Scotty. Yeah. And then, of course, there's the story of the red shoes. She wanted those shoes and she wanted them and she wanted to dance, and then they were magic, and she danced and danced and danced and danced and danced and she couldn't stop. So eventually she chopped her feet off. So be careful what you want. Stories are wonderful. Yeah, we have to have fishing license. We have to have a license virtually to breathe here.
Take your equipment, Lindsay. They could take, if they wanted to, they could confiscate your boat if you're fishing illegally, if they want to be karmic about it.
Yeah. Yeah, they would do it here.
Yep.
You can't just take a boat and go and paddle on the water.
Oh no, well here you can, but you have to have a registration. You don't have to go to school, but you need a registration.
I'm sure
you don't need a class.
Yeah, I'm quite sure they would have made you go to school here for it. You're supposed to have gone to school even or dogs have to go to school. You have to go to school but I didn't because I jumped the law.
But you have to go to school if you get a pet dog?
Yeah, you have to have it. It has to have its Führerschein, its driving license. So it has to know to be able to sit and to lie down and to come back. And then you pay a lot of money for its license.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. It's Germany,
wow.
Guys, with laws and rules.
Well, I know you guys have to have a road vest for each individual passenger, signal flares, jumper cables, storage of food, a blanket, and a box in the trunk. It's insane. And if you don't have it, and they check, and there's checkpoints, they check for these things too.
Yeah.
How crazy. I mean, I guess, it's kind of common sense, but I mean, even at that.
It's kind of illegal to break down.
It's illegal to break for your car to break down.
It's illegal to run out of petrol or gasoline.
Here you just get laughed at.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's illegal.
Oh, wow. Oh, well. Yeah. No, if you run out of petrol here, you just call AAA and that's what you pay for. And they'll give you like a whole 2 gallons worth of gas for free. Yeah. But you're paying for it anyways.
And if you're caught smoking dope or drinking, they do take your license away for like a year or 2 years. Don't know.
Even if you're not driving, like if you're just like standing in a parking lot smoking a joint, they'll take your license away.
I don't know about that one.
Oh, okay.
Know. But then you also have to go to therapy. You have to now be rehabilitated in your brain to realize how irresponsible it is to smoke dope or to drink while you're driving. So you have to have done also so many years of therapy. And it they fine
most people
you.
I know, they fine you. Wow, crazy.
Oh, they'll fine you like 2,000 euros, and then you have to pay for all that therapy. So it's like 3,000, 4,000 euros by the time you get your license back.
That's insane. Most people
it's crazy. It was one of Alex's friends. I mean, that was really stupid of him that he did get caught for drinking, and he'd had his license for like a couple of years.
Oh, wow.
No, they're very, very serious. And they're very serious for the first 5 years after you get your license. They don't.
I mean, here in the States, there's nothing they can do about pot. They tried a blood test deal, but the problem with pot is it's in your system. Yeah. You get a smoke 3 days ago, and then they're going to try to bust you for what you smoked 3 days. So they can't really do anything here. And alcohol, there's a couple of states that are actually trying, and they're trying to pass laws where you would have to breathe into a breathalyzer before your car would start. It'd be a standard for every car to breathe into a breathalyzer.
Okay.
So they're just treating you like a drunk in advance. So it's
Oh.
kind of an interesting deal here. There's a few states that are looking to make that permanent. But then, of course, the guy who invented the breathalyzer said it's not accurate and it's totally fake anyways.
It's not,
So,
and it's like kind of crazy because Germany used to have another. I mean, on the other hand, they had a really great like system of the law with people inebriated drivers. No matter what your blood count was, if you could walk on the line backwards and forwards, and if you could sign over your name, they'd make you do your signature, and then you'd do your signature on top of that.
oh well.
And that was apparently a very good test as to how capable you would be of actually driving a car.
Just sign your name over.
Yeah. So go try that next time you've done stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then when it's like soccer season here, football season, all the cops turn a blind eye because everybody's drinking. So they don't.
Scott, I would imagine heroin is frowned upon, Scotty, and in Germany, I would imagine so, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, they invented the stuff. They had a very big problem many years ago in Berlin. I don't know now, but apparently in the 70s and the 80s, it was really a big problem. But I know apparently when was that? That was then in the 80s that David Bowie went he came to Berlin and he actually stayed with John Lennon to get clean because it was the laws and it was quite difficult to get hold of. So it was part of his personal rehabilitation. Yeah, he pulled out of all that crazy magic, Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lindsay, if you didn't know, Lindsay, yeah, you were talking about the breathalyzer there. Yeah, all of that's set up purposely. Even though breathalyzers don't work, it's all done purposely for the insurance company set it all up. Like your radar detectors, the speed, like the speed detectors are all paid for by the insurance companies, given to the police department so they can make more money. The whole thing, even the breathalyzers in the car that they're setting up, they're all being paid for by the insurance companies so that they can make more money. In Colorado, they passed a law, 1 point equals $100 extra per month. So you get one parking ticket on your, one parking ticket equals 1 point. And so you get a point on your driver's license. It's $100 a month for a year that you have to pay as a fine to the insurance companies. So the insurance companies are writing all the laws, if you didn't know that. That's why you have speed limits, but we can go on.
In the biggest cities where when you go and pay for your ticket, a lot of the garages have you can put in your €1 and you can get a breathalyzer. So you can do your own to see if you can drive.
But the breathalyzer is fake. The guy who invented it said it doesn't really work. So like if you were smart, you just take his testimony and just go to court, and it's like this is fake. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we do on this planet that's just totally fake that they're propping up as real. But yeah. Exactly.
Well, they push us to drink and then they fine us when we drink, whatever, it's all like it's all
right. And then they create the speed limits. So they create an absurdly low speed limit with purpose. So you go into a town in America, most towns standard speed limit is 25 miles an hour, which is ridiculously slow. So if they don't post anything, you're supposed to go 25, and that's all. And they don't post a street sign, and then they give you a ticket for going 30 and 25. They don't
post a street sign here. We must know.
And then right.
When you go into a built-up area, it's like a particular, you'll see this, but there's no sign to tell you the speed.
Oh, wow.
So you must know, and they almost always flash you.
Exactly. Seems to do that here too.
Just laugh at you. You can pay your fines all over the place here. And when they just laugh at you.
What actually we found out happens with the fines in most places in America is it goes to the police benevolent fund. So they don't use it for anything other than having office parties or buying one thing in Texas, bought a frozen margarita maker for the break room. So they don't use it for operating costs. they use it to fund the police benevolent fund, which is really just a slush fund for the cops to do whatever they choose. And so, and then of course they're in collusion. So in Colorado, any ticket, as we said, 1 point is $100. So you get a speeding ticket. One speeding ticket, 5 miles over the speeding limit in the state of Colorado will cost you, are you ready? $3,600 in additional insurance costs per year.
Wow. Now, in South Africa was the same, and you'd notice round about in Christmas time, before Christmas and Easter time, it would just say that, oh, they're working for their bonus.
There you go. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Here they try to cut that corruption out. So, if you've done something and you've like been blitzed in a little like crazy little like 20 zone in between the 80 zones, where they will usually trap you, and you can go onto the internet and you can look what your fine's going to be.
Mm-hmm. There's a spot in Texas that was known for pulling 100% of people over, and then not even giving them tickets. They were actually doing it to bend the use of civil asset forfeiture. So people would drive through this town, and the next thing you know, they're walking home. Because they would make them forfeit they would say, well, this car might have been used in a drug deal, so you're gonna have to forfeit your car until we can figure that out. And they would just make totally lying, right? It's like they would just use it as a stand. Or if you had any money, well, this money, we don't know if it's your paycheck or what, so you have to forfeit this. And so everybody they were pulling over, they were taking their car, they were taking all the possessions in their car. Some cases they were taking their keys, and the house keys and everything, and saying, sorry, you have to forfeit all this until we can figure out why you would drive through our town specifically and have a Mercedes when you don't look like you should own a Mercedes. Serious. And finally the feds had to step in, because they had, we're talking thousands of people, and they're just impounding everybody's car, and it's just insane. Scotty might know where it is. And they were, when one guy came through and he had a down payment for his house and it's gone and he never got it back, and the police are just partying it up with the money.
You're not allowed to ride your bicycle if you're drunk.
Well, that's here too. But of course, there's a bunch of towns there's a bunch of towns in the United States that have laws that say you can't bring your monster into town after sunset.
Yeah. But people also tell on you here, so you have to. People are weird here. It's like a kickback from the 80s and from the 1930s as well,
Well, well, people had to tell him. Look at we're not going to say specific names of people who told on people, but you kind of had a culture there. If you didn't tell on somebody, you might be dead. So
and it hasn't really. It's as in Germany. It's a standard joke. You hardly need the police here. You actually just have you just need the German grannies.
Exactly, the ones who told the police, right?
And they say that we've got these big windowsills and our windows open like this. They have this kip and they were open like this. And the reason the windowsills are like that is so that you can put a pillow on there and your chair and you can watch the neighbors.
Nice.
Scotty
boy got arrested for drunk bicycle driving. Wow, Scotty. Did you have to do you have to take a what do you do then when you go to ride your bike? Now, do you have to take a breathalyzer? That's crazy. They took my bike. They took your bike?
Yeah.
But bad boy, you can't ride your bike now. Technically, who are you harming if you're riding your bike drunk? Unless you crash into a parked car. Honestly.
That's why. Yeah. But I had a friend here last time around in Germany, and he couldn't drive. He had a beautiful car, and it was just sitting there. I said, but how did you get caught? He said, no, he put in gasoline, and he went in to pay, and the woman smelled alcohol on his breath and called the police. It's like
my
shit.
God.
That's really shit.
Well, yeah, it's kind of. We've all had something we've all had something. Yeah, I get it. We'll just leave that one be. But people. There's always that subsect of people in this society, no matter what, are going to be busybodies and Nellies and Karens, and have to police everybody else and not let people be. Unfortunately,
it's not cool. It's not cool.
No, it's a karmic way to live, because it's who's looking in
anybody?
Right, but if you're looking into somebody else's backyard, well, then let's pry open yours there, sister, if you're going to sit here and judge everybody, or brother, so to speak. Right. So Scotty boy got charged for drunk riding, but that's That's a first. I've never seen anybody, and then they confiscate. Wow. All right, Schaefer.
I wonder.
I've seen people riding drunk. There's a group in Cincinnati. They would bruise and bikes or something, and they would go to different breweries and different like distilleries on their bikes. And I saw them once. I was at a brewery, and they pulled up to the brewery, and they had like beer instead of this was in Cincinnati, so maybe it's just where you are. But instead of water bottles, they had beer bottles and beer in their water stuff, and they had one guy had a flask set up on his handlebars. So I have no idea. They were all riding drunk as hell.
Hmm. When I was at, there was like over 1 million people at the Brandenburg New Year. I'll never do one
Oh, wow.
of those things again. And quite a few things actually, but like if you took, they confiscated any alcohol, and they had this huge like dumpster where they were just throwing alcohol in that they confiscated from people trying to get in with alcohol. There was also like joints that were just like passed around all over the place. And then there were some guys that started fighting. We were quite near the front, but oh my goodness, yeah, no, you get your liver moved to where your heart is. No, never again. But there were some two guys starting to do a fight. It was quite scary for me, not the fight, but somebody in the audience, like nice German people, just like put up their hand and made some signal. And the next thing, these two little guys come running in, and they've got like German helmets on, but they're not green, they're like flesh colored, so you hardly even see them. And they're dressed in white, and they're kind of the police. And they so quickly stop the fight and remove the people out without like, it was like very surreal for me.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And that's all you got to do is that and the Polizei, the riot control.
Not in America. They said the response time in Boulder was like 20 minutes or something. What I'm noticing is each of these little incidents, the response time seems to get longer and longer and longer. I'm not saying anything as to why, but generally speaking, there's a cop shop just around the corner from the Boulder. The whole headquarters of the cop shop, everything is just around the corner. The actual the downtown, the city offices are right off Pearl Street Mall. They're 2 blocks from what they have. So I leave nothing. I say nothing, but sometimes you just got to wonder what.
Yeah, I think in all countries, but that's a really good thing about our police in a way, is that they only take the best. Like in South Africa, it was the dropouts that became policemen, especially in the white era. Those that like didn't get past like grade 6 managed to become a policeman. The Buddha, the white one, they were like a nasty lot. So yeah, all that was mainly like dropouts that joined the police force. And in Germany, you have to have finished your highest level of education. And I've heard that somebody he wanted to be a Polizei, and they pay them well. So you can't say you need bribes. And the Polizei, and he didn't get in because of something that he did in 2nd grade or 4th grade. Sorry, I've got to always convert in my head. Because of some school issue that he had done in 4th grade. So they go through your whole, and they say he's not going to be a good candidate as a Polizei.
No, they don't do that here. In a lot of cases now, a lot of the cops are actually there's a handful of cities actually looking to actively taking the illegal immigrants who they don't even know their education and turning them into cops. So you're taking people who aren't citizens, who barely have a legal right to drive, really don't, can't vote, but manage to sometimes. And you're turning them, they're being turned into police officers. We say nothing.
Yeah, it's like, Hey, just so above the raw, guys. That's like hugely. We've got to just keep elevating our beautiful energy. And let's get back to something more positive. Yes, the energy has definitely changed. And I thought I'll show you just now, because I was actually working. He's doing some shits tomorrow. Hopefully, will be exciting if he's back on land again. If he's a landlubber, I don't know where he's been flying. But I had this meditation. It had so many threads. It was like almost like rainbows, but lots of gold threads. So there's a lot of weaving going on. And then this morning when I woke up, my dream was like, it was like these white threads with like pearls in them. And I thought, but like so wishy-washy. And I thought, what's going on? Why is it like so wishy-washy? And earlier was also something very similar with these like threads. So this is the new energy. It's about weaving. These are huge. So if you're seeing these like, I mean, I'm sure you're still going to see orbs, and orbs are always going to be in fashion. But this is something new that's coming down these tendrils. So it's weaving the new love. And it's like, and it was just so beautiful because that was one of my favorite songs for many years, was that Carole King Tapestry song.
There you go.
Sing it for us, Josh. Can you do that?
No, you don't want me singing, trust me.
Talking about being.
I know Carole King, but I'm not going to sing. You don't know.
She also did I Feel the Earth Move Under My Feet.
There you go.
Yeah. So let me just see, because it was like, I almost always have amazing meditations. Let me just show, because this was when it came up. This was just like, wow, I'm going back to my mountain. You know, whoops, come on, don't you want to go up? There we go. So those tendrils. Are you guys all there, or did I knock you off?
No, we're still here.
Yeah. So you're going to see a lot of those threads. For some of us, not everybody, don't stress if you don't see them, but that's just, no. It was interesting because there was I know that I got at that meditation that PG actually wasn't at that meditation. It was just like so like weird. For me, it was very weird, those threads. And he's been doing looming stuff. Yeah. So that's definitely going back onto my. So we're all going to be weaving all sorts of things somewhere. Well, that's what I'm going to be pushing out onto the planet. It's my meditation. There's apparently even like in Japan, they have this water filter, which is just a straw. Isn't that just so amazing? So you can just drink water through your straw and have it.
There you go.
It's a nice one.
Oh, wow. Millie's setting up a zero water filter. So yay. I know you had mentioned that you purchased that in the chat a while ago. That's awesome. I use a zero water filter myself, and they're fit. And I just forget the fantastic. Enjoy zero water. If you want zero everything in your water for less than $50, go on Amazon. There's no PFAs. There's no microplastics. It removes it all, and it removes all the fluoride.
Oh, that was the other thing. I was so proud of myself. I woke up with this in my brain instead of tune into Mother Earth. So I did a whole pile, and I hope everybody got the message. This is the month of May. I think there are going to be a few loonies going on this month, but that's okay. Just like holding tight. Venus is playing big time. So, yeah.
I'm still here. I'm just grabbing coffee.
Sorry?
I said, I'm still here. I'm just grabbing coffee. It's right
Oh, so you've turned on your head while you're grabbing coffee. Oh, okay. Well, Lindsay's also an old man. Ha 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 ha. Millie, you're still beautiful. You've still got a way to go. Enjoy. Yes, you are in your wisdom. 55's amazing. Yeah. I used to get so upset with them in South Africa when they called me Gogo, which means grandmother.
Couldn't even imagine living in South Africa. It's got to be like living on another planet.
Living in any countries, living on another planet.
This is, well, America and Canada, yes and no. I've been to Canada. I've spent 2 months in Canada. That's not another planet, other than the fact that there's more Canadian flags. You think America has a lot of flags everywhere in Canada.
Oh, you don't have
It's
many
really,
German flags. Slowly it's starting, but they don't fly the flag very often. They fly other countries. Like if there are Americans living in a house, they'll have an American flag outside their house, or British flag.
that's interesting.
Tutu, that's so cool. South Africa had Bishop Tutu. I thought when England, it's another planet. I mean, they speak English, but it's another planet. It's a different culture. And when I was going to go to America, I thought, oh, it'll be easy, like I speak the language. But you don't speak English, you speak American.
Well, actually, from what I've actually heard, though, American English is more proper English than English. English is purposely made proper. Like I've heard this before. I don't know if it's the case,
Well,
and
most
it may have
probably.
been like they did it. They put the accent in purposely, and
Yeah.
they've all kind of created that accent, and so it just kind of stuck because they wanted the sound. They wanted that more uppity kind of. I don't know. That's what I've heard, but I don't know if that's correct or not. So.
I can't, that the Harry Potters, by the time it got to the last series, I could hardly understand them. That's the London accent. It's got so bad that you can't really understand them.
Better than a Cockney. Have you ever tried to hear a Cockney accent?
Well, Cockneys, at least you know that you're going in somewhere else.
Right. You got to be like, wait, let me just
London, you would
stop
think,
and let me.
that it would be a little bit more like the Queen's English. America, they have different words for different things, and people that I know that have immigrated for a longer time to America, they do adopt a slight American accent to speak to the local people. Otherwise, it's quite difficult for people to understand you. And like, if I would say to people, I'm going to the shop so that I can go and put petrol in my car.
We'd all understand that.
They don't know. They don't. Most people didn't. Back then, they didn't understand. So
We'd go with 90% of Americans would know what petrol is at this point.
And you're going, yeah. So those words, especially when it's like it takes some time for some people to like relate to it. Not everybody can translate it quickly. Petrol gas. Yeah, you see petrol gas. What do they call it here? Benzene.
Petroleum.
No, they call it benzene.
Benzene's its own. I wouldn't want to put benzene in my car. It would eat the engine alive.
But they do a lot where they change their cars over to working with earth gas. Do you not have earth gas?
We have E85, which is made of corn, which so the big deal was that we were running short on corn and corn feed. And then all of a sudden they pushed for this E85 gas. So corn went from like 10 cents a piece to like 50 cents a piece. And so now, E85, unless your engine is made for it, that's the other thing. You can lose 20% of your car life if you use an ethanol gas in a regular car. You lose 20% of the life of the car because it not kills the engine. But so we do, like, if you go to the pumps here, you can get E85 on its own, but you have to have a car that'll take it. Otherwise, you get regular gas with like 10% ethanol anyways, which is the least amount you can put it. It's like the most you can put into a gas before it'll rip your engine to shreds. So yeah, we do. That's the closest thing we do to. We have biodiesel as well, but I don't deal with diesel.
I don't know what it is here. So they call it earth gas, which means earth gas.
I have no idea. I mean, they want to use carbon.
And I know that they convert like cars. A lot of people send their cars to Poland to get it done because it costs like 10% of what it costs to have it done here.
I don't know.
It's very expensive here.
I don't know. I mean, I know in America they were going to put these giant scrubbers in Iowa to suck out all of the carbon from the atmosphere. But of course, so I have no idea. The earth gases or where. I mean, honestly, you can run a car on water, but they just don't make it. It's not legal.
Yeah.
So,
And
I mean,
then
the guy who invented the water car got
there's quite a
killed.
few cars on water, and I have lots of stuff, proof of that, but it's
Yeah, well, they used to during World War II, the P-52 Mustang. It was run. The original Mustangs were run as a water-injected engine, and they could go over 1,000 miles. They could drive all the way into Russia, not Germany.
and
But
they keep bumping those people off because it doesn't.
well,
But
they recalled for some odd reason during the middle of the war. They changed all the P-52 Mustangs. They changed all the engines from the water injected carburetors to fuel injected, and then or the fuel carburetor, and then they could only go 400 and change in miles. So yeah, I have no idea. So
Trista, you're
yeah,
so right there in a way. If you go from Johannesburg and you go to Cape Town, completely different country. And if you go to KwaZulu-Natal or Durban, it's a completely different country. Completely different. I think it's just that the prices, and gasoline, like gasoline, we have fixed sets, and then it goes up and then it goes down. Here, it can go up and down like 5 times in a day.
oh totally. We went from
You do the
319.
same day?
We went from 319 to $2.85 in one day. I gassed up, was 319. I came home, I was like, it's 285. What the hell?
Yeah. So you do the same there. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, gas on Thursday because Friday it'll go up because it's the weekend. It's what happens.
Yeah. And that was for a long time there, but it's changed now. That's when they did the farmers rioted. Not this time, but even before. Then they stopped when they wanted to put up the price of diesel, because that's what kept our food prices down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why they rioted about the diesel here, because
Nice.
that would make food go up. Yeah. Because of
our food went up anyways.
The farmers and transportation uses diesel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our food went up anyways, like 40%.
I know they don't. The Germans complain too much. Our food it's going up like now. It's getting like South Africa within a week. It's virtually doubled. It's revolt. It's ridiculous. I don't know how people survive. The people on the lower level, because we all have to pay the same price for basic foodstuffs.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
But yeah, hopefully, and that's why I really stand here. It's one of my big things with Ganesha, that this will be protected, that the new inventions or the old ones that come out, like the cars on water, and many which are old, but they get hidden and then they will resurface. But that they get protected and that the money goes to the rightful owners of these inventions would be really nice, and that they get respected and not like ridiculed.
You did see the movie about the guy who invented the automatic windshield wipers, right? With you did see that with Michael Keaton?
No.
Check that one out. No, the companies don't care about you. They will steal everything they can from you. They'll stomp on you. Ray Kroc stomped on McDonald's. It doesn't matter. Most of these companies, not every company, but large, they're just out to know. Yeah, there's a Volkswagen in Germany. It gets 70 miles per gallon in gas, but it's banned in the United States because it gets too many miles per gallon.
But I've watched, like, in the last few years, actually 3 known cases of people that have invented cars. There was an African American guy in the States, and he then had a demise. That was like about 7 years ago. Invented a car.
Yeah.
There's a guy I know in Zimbabwe that's invented a car that runs on water.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another one from the States, and I know that was it VW or Mercedes went after him.
There's a guy, and he was on like Cleveland News up near Cleveland, Ohio, and he was on the news driving around in his buggy that he invented, and he was like, "Yeah, I plan to take it." It was like 1983. I plan to take it to the major car manufacturers. Well, you just happened to have a heart attack 2 days later. Yeah. Literally, the news was like, "You remember that guy we just interviewed? Well, he's dead." And then the police came and raided it, took all his stuff, like literally. Like one day, the police came and all of his entire garage and everything was empty based on national security. That's all they said.
So we don't need those batteries. I mean, I was shouting about the cobalt mines back in 2016, 2017. So nobody's done, and they were bad then.
No. Joe, what did you have anybody see that Joe Rogan picture of the cobalt mines? Holy cow.
Yes, I brought that.
He smuggled one out.
Wicked, guys. It's wicked.
If you knew how many children built your cell phone,
Yeah.
the cell phone you have, and how many of the metals were mined by people under 14, you would take your phone and chuck it against the wall.
And we're still, well, yeah. You know what they did in Holland here?
Exactly, Scotty boy.
They tied big bags around the bum of the cows, and they were like,
that's ridiculous.
And they had a little gas tank that they collected, and then they used them to grow the most amazing fruits and vegetables.
Okay, that I respect. Okay, that would work.
Yeah,
that makes sense. If they were just doing it to save the environment, then we've already lost the shark, but we really jumped the shark on that one.
Yeah.
The idea of scrubbing carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere when and wanting to scrub all of it out of the atmosphere means that they really just want to depopulate the planet, but we don't need to go there.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a minute, in a second.
All right, welcome to Krista's Live. It's just me. How are we doing? We could do a channeling here if you like. So yeah, we'll do some energy work. All right, so how are we doing, guys? Well, welcome. I guess the host left, so here you go. I'll sing 3 coins in a fountain, each one. We could do a little soft shoe. I can juggle for you. My dad actually researched mining cobalt for his electric car and did it anyways because he thought it was a decent sacrifice. How am I doing? I am doing well. Debating on whether or not I want to bother to DoorDash today. Maybe, maybe not. Kind of enjoying a chill day. But other than that, I am doing quite well. Hope you no work. Not the potato shop is closed for a week. I could DoorDash, or I can just wait till this. I'll probably DoorDash tomorrow for sure. And then this weekend and Friday a little bit, and then this weekend, Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday. This weekend I'm working like 40 hours between the concert venues and stuff, so I'll get a regular. So it's like yes, I should be DoorDashing because the money, but sometimes you just need to breathe too, right? I guess recenter on the energies. Thank you. Lindsay, how is you're still living in that yurt. So what's your 411? What's your situation? I don't know if 411's a Canadian thing. What's your situation as far as moving or not, or lack thereof, or favor?
Good. Are you having a good day, Josh?
Yes, blessed, actually.
Are you feeling are you proud of yourself?
Am I proud? I don't know if proud's not the right word, but no, because I mean, no, I'm content.
Yeah, content. Or I was going to say satisfied. Yeah, content. Content is good. Yeah. Well, are you honoring yourself? There we go. Honoring is good.
Exactly. I'm doing, you know what? I mean, honestly, we've got, if I didn't DoorDash all the way through this week with what I'm doing this weekend and what I got coming back from from one job and another, I already got the rent covered. So it's like, I'm fine. Once you realize how it's weird how we live in this karmic state, right? And maybe I'll make a point. We live in this karmic state where when we're in karmic energies or heavier energies, we don't see how easy certain things can actually be. And so now that I've kind of been pushed into a state where I had to kind of drive into my own universe, it's actually quite easy to bring in money. The money I need is just always there. So it's quite easy, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, so as far as do I need to, I don't know. I may go DoorDash for dinner, but then again, I may not because I'm really at a peaceful state right now. And I don't have to. Would it be better financially? Yes. Sure. Always having more money is better because we have goals, right? But no, I'm at peace and I'm not being karmic against myself or anything else, which is nice. So for the first time in a while, I'm actually, because the energies yesterday and the day before were holy hell insane. So the calm after the storm, so to speak. There we go.
Yeah. Just everybody, just hang in there. Remember, you've got amazing tools, so use them. And there's lots of stuff is just dropping away. Don't get involved, and especially involved too much with your stories. Yeah. So good old relationship stuff with this Venus stuff is like really big on the agenda at the moment. Again, just for fun. So cobalt.
I'm just holding out to see having Jupiter in my first house, which is one of my most destroyed houses. I wasn't squared up in any sort of fashion. So having Jupiter move into the first house, I'm curious to see how it propels my inner self and myself in general, because the first house is about personality and squaring you up and all that.
Are you drinking? Sorry. Thank you, Scotty. Christmas dog. His name is Yuki. I take it, which means snowflake. So he's now Christmas dog.
1122. Yeah, you're not the only one, Scotty, to notice that. I've said it in the chat too. It's like, wow, that's a thirsty dog.
Yeah, but he calls him Christmas dog. That's what I'm laughing.
I love it.
But I don't know if I wove that together properly. It's just his name, as I said, his name is Yuki, which means snowflake. So Scotty has made it Christmas dog. I like Christmas dog. Christmas dog is good. Millie, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, my angel.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Look at us. We've got Suki and Yuki and Zuki. Cool. And broccoli over there.
Nice.
Hello, Christmas dog. Oh, they like to do that. They dress their dogs up here for Christmas a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we have quite a. Somebody must write a song. Where's Lottie? She must write songs for us about Suki and Yuki and Zuki.
There you go. We could have PG do some pictures.
Big time from the bottom of my heart. And thank you for putting PG. I remember that one as well. It was, I kind of met PG over there. You had that live Zoom, which was really awesome. I don't know when.
And we shall have another. We did one at Christmas time and then one after that somewhere. But we're going to do another one at some point.
Yeah. And that was just
But tomorrow will be alive. If you want to come on tomorrow, well, you're welcome to.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to come on live tomorrow, you are welcome to. There'll be a StreamYard link pinned to this channel or pinned to the chat. Anybody wants to jump on, they can say hi, party on, whatever.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
What time, Josh? Where? When? Who?
Good Dawning. Same thing. During Good Dawning.
Oh, okay. Are we partying for another day? Awesome.
Yeah. Tomorrow we're partying into the second year of Good Dawning. And yeah, where we start doing more energetic work and yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
The idea of the second year is to see how we can create change. It's about moving forward.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to post it in Discord?
The show? It's Good Dawning's always. I mean, I could, but Good Dawning, we always kind of know where it is. But
no, the link to the
no, the StreamYard link is strictly going to be in the chat. So if you're watching the show tomorrow and you want to join Good Dawning on the live itself, then just grab it out of the chat and you'll show up like the Brady Bunch in the box there.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where I kind of met P, and it was just so nice to see everybody what we looked like on that Zoom.
I know, right?
Yeah, it was really wonderful. Yeah, and then PG was bubbling about ChatGPT. It took me a little while. I don't know why nobody else took it up. I did, and it was like something really scary for me. But it kind of opened a huge doorway for me.
Sure. I'm not personally a fan of AI. I don't know. I mean, I know that eventually you get left behind, but I think personally, and I'm even going to state it with the Bluetooth I'm wearing or anything else. Personally, I'm not a fan of AI. I think there's more sinister involvement there, but that's just
I'm
me.
also not,
but
and it was like that's why I was surprised.
I just leave it alone.
Actually embrace it. But then, yeah, it's also for a lot of people, it's like how you work with it, how you talk to it, and some people do say. I also wonder if they just appeasing them, their own conscience. That it's up to us to program it about what we are feeding it.
Oh, sure. But eventually it'll feed itself.
Well,
That's the
yeah.
idea. It'll reach its own
But
singularity
what
and
have
feed
we
itself.
fed it? What are we feeding it? I'm definitely not a fan of AI, and I really do think that we need to work obviously hugely more with talking and removing ourselves vibrationally from this planet, out of body stuff and mental telepathy, and just working with our like the God-given gifts, the natural stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So going back to the birds and the bees and how they created it. And that
Yeah,
was
but
also, that was like the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. That was just came from, those are really
and a
huge.
thing called love.
But they are the 4 pillars that really hold life together for us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
they don't work without each other.
right, but they don't want us working with that. They're creating their transhuman society with AI, and eventually end up in the virtual plex where you're living underneath your goggles and you don't see the real world. Right.
Yeah, do. And I do that. So, and it's like, go this way and go that way. And who's going to be down there and who's going to be there? And just really listening and feeling, and like using, I've shared it a little while ago that we have these filaments that come out of our being, and just like putting them out there. And what are you feeling? Yeah. What's going on? Yeah.
It should all
And
be about what you're feeling.
there was a guy I saw also a few years ago. It was, somewhere in Africa, I'm not sure. It was white. Got to clarify, a white guy and an African guy, and he was some kind of engineer, electrical engineer, and he took like the thingamajiggies, like you do with a potato. You can like light a light bulb,
Yeah.
and they put it into a tree, and they charged their cell phone.
Shut the front. Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's vibration. Why not? I mean, trees
Why
are the
not?
electromagnetic
Exactly.
stabilization. Trees are
Go up and
stabilizing the
down.
planet electromagnetically. So why not?
Yeah. So we don't need all this shit, it's so there. We have to just tune into it. I'm really enjoying. I mean, one of the scary things for me, and that was quite a few years ago, and I mentioned it to some people. They thought it was such a good idea. I think it's terrible. The Israelis do some amazing stuff in the laboratory, but they had developed like laboratory honey.
Like fake honey?
Fake honey, yeah, like the fake meat.
Ooh, why would you? Why would you even want to invent fake honey? Because honey is honey. It's amazing. Why would you want to fake it?
It's like test tube babies. Well, we used to call them test tube babies. And when they first came out, one of my friends was an amazing astrologer, and she just did like these charts of these kids, the first test tube babies. They're now the implantation, whatever.
Right.
And she said the thing that was missing in their charts was love. They have no love, which I found very interesting. Yeah. And they don't. What do they call it now? In IFV, and I can't remember the statistic, but I did because I've shared it with my doctor professors.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculously high. It's almost half the children on the planet right now
What are IVF?
are being It's
Wow.
about 40% of births. It's not cool, guy. I think I worry about that. Yeah.
Well, I used to work for Humana Health Insurance in the States, and we would get calls like, I have 7 kids. Whoa, and I'm 53 years old. Can I get genetic? What would it be for testing and stuff if I want to have another like IVF or, an extreme birth? And we're like, we're not going to do that. They're like, well, yeah, but I need 9 kids or whatever. And they're like, I'm like, I'm sorry, at that age, we don't, we're not going to send you for a specialty birth so you can have your 9th kid. But yeah, so in America, it's kind of crazy. But we would get calls like, so while you're getting half of the kids are IVF, we've got other who are like, so a lot of these people in America trying to have kids at like age 60 and like, I need to have a specialty birth. And it's like, no, you don't. Sorry, you have 9 kids already. What's going on?
I don't know how they do. I don't know if they do that here in Germany. Obviously, they do it. They do all sorts of revolting testing that you'd not do. They never stop.
that was my ex, Scotty boy.
They never stopped. Because in South Africa, I know we had, they're quite old now, we had the Rosenkovitz, the sextuplets. There were 6 kids. She made a lot of money just advertising them.
Yeah, we had one of those here. Matter of fact, I just saw some advertisement on YouTube or where, I don't know where it was, that they're doing a follow-up on her and her 6 kids.
Yeah. Well, they must be in their 30s or 40s now. Yeah. But yeah, it's not quite. And like in Germany, you can't have an elective Caesar. They look at you like you've gone crazy.
Any what of Caesar?
It's like you want to have a cesarean.
Oh, okay.
They won't. They look at you like you're absolutely crazy.
No, in America, it's actually suggested because, you know, as they're trying to de-love America and defamilize it, that way, if you have a cesarean, then you are less bonded to your mother. You have more chance of ADHD and medical issues and mental issues and everything. So yeah, they want you to have cesareans in America.
Yeah.
Again, as we say to most of these topics, we don't really want to go there, right?
It was, but that's also, but how it affects the child is those children just want things come easy in their life. They don't want to work for stuff because
Really,
you have to struggle to go through the birth canal. Plus, you
But
miss
no.
out on that shot of DMT.
Yes, that's absolutely correct, as a matter of fact. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why they don't want you to go through the birth canal and would have you ripped out of the belly instead. And it goes to other energetics and such. But we live in that. Unfortunately, we live in that space where if it's good for you, they're not going to, most likely not going to suggest it. Coming in America, we're just finally getting rid of red number 3 and red number 40 after how many years of people knowing that it's like absolutely going to kill you. So, you know.
Scotty, they say if men had to give birth, they would all be one child families. There was some TV program, maybe you had it in the States, some Dutch people did it, and they simulated birth pains for the guys. They really didn't cope. Yeah.
No, most of your macho guys are actually more whippy than you would ever think. If you most of your macho guys can't take any pain. Most women can take way more pain than any of even your most machoest guys.
Hmm.
All right, guys. I do need to kind of get moving here on my universe.
Yeah, I need to go as well. We would go, absolutely.
Oops.
We would go extinct. And then I overheard my husband talking to his, you know, we all had to go to the guys had to go to the army, all guys in South Africa. And he was talking, it was forced conscription. And he was talking to one of his friends. I overheard him talking about the birth when I gave birth. And he was like, he said, so much blood, dude. Like so much blood, like you can't believe. You've never seen never in the army, never. You've never seen so much blood, dude.
Well, fortunately, South Africa doesn't get in too many wars. So, yeah, he's not going to have to.
We'll talk about that another day. We've got more than enough to talk about. Thank you, everybody. And thank you so much, Josh.
Thank you, Krista. Truly.
And thank
love
you.
You. Thank you. Thank you, guys. And join us for Good Dawning tomorrow. We're going to have a party. And if you want to be on the Zoom chat or the StreamYard on the video, there you go. Just click the StreamYard link tomorrow and you'll show up. So there we go. It'll be fun.
And just keep on being yourself, Josh.
Thank you, Krista. Thank you, guys.
Trust in yourself, whatever, and things can turn 180 degrees. Maybe they'll turn 360 and you'll spin back again. Maybe you'll just turn 45.
No, we are not spinning back again because we understand. If you understand the patterns and you don't spin back again. So this time I'm understanding of the patterns. We don't spin
but
back.
sometimes some things were good. So that's it. Just trust yourself. Above all
that's
else,
it.
Trust yourself.
Exactly.
Namaste, and thank you so much,
Namaste.
Josh.
Thank you, Krista. Thanks for all you do.
Next year for sure, but sometime in between. But we'll definitely be here next year.
And I'll see you tomorrow in the dawning, guys.
Yeah. Love you, everybody. Have an awesome, awesome day. Bye.
Love you guys.
Thank you.